So corporate PACs, right, is that I've seen members of Congress go in and say they're a climate hawk, and then their first year, they take $500,000 from big oil, $500K.
You want to see what real independent journalism funded by the people for the people looks like?
You ever heard a story like this in America?
You're looking at it.
Congratulations for always being somewhere where mainstream media is not.
Flint, Michigan.
See you in Nevada.
Thanks to people like you, we can get the truth. Corporate media, they've been lying to us for years, and you're going straight to the people.
You are the man. I'm glad you're here.
For as low as 16 cents a day, you'll keep us on the ground, covering the important stories the corporate media covers up.
JT Siskowski for Status Coup. Right now I'm in my backyard in Wisconsin, but earlier this week I was reporting on the ground in Chicago about some of the ICE raids that were happening there. And as part of that reporting, I was interviewing former Congresswoman Marie Newman about the effects that the raids were having on her community, her neighbors, her friends. But during our discussion, she ended up pulling back the curtain on what corruption actually does to members of Congress. She saw it up close in the one term that she served. I started by asking her if Democrats in Congress really use their own leaders like Representative Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer as scapegoats so that they can avoid taking tough votes and tough stances on important issues like actually helping their constituents get out from underneath the boot of ICE officers patrolling and invading their communities. I want to, from your perspective, actually having been in Congress, to what extent is that a permission structure for other elected Dems to be able to throw more of the blame onto leadership? Like, I would love to, push for more, but, my leadership isn't for it. At least that's the perception as someone just out here on the street. How real is that inside of Congress?
That's correct. I think there are people that hide behind, well, Leader Jeffries and Leader Schumer aren't doing it, so I can't. I mean, guess what? This is a chaotic, never happened before administration. And we are living in a fascist government right now. Everybody has to accept and understand we are not approaching fascism. We are in fascism. They are taking away all of our rights. They are turning it into an oligarchy. It is an oligarchy right now. Can these things be reversed? Yes, but it's going to take all of us. And that means it takes all of Congress. So I am not giving anybody an out in Congress. Everybody should be out in their districts at these protests, being clear that you are not going to put up with taking our First Amendment rights away, taking immigrant rights away, whatever the rights, because they're taking away all of them right now. So get out there.
And she wasn't shy in talking about exactly how many of her colleagues she saw take either corporate PAC money or special interest money in ways that directly influence their votes on important issues.
89% of Congress takes corporate PAC money. 89%. 87% takes money from bully PACs, APAC, 314 Science, Democratic Majority for Israel, United Democracy Project. So all of those pro-Israel groups are the same.
And publicly available financial disclosures in the form of Federal Elections Commission's filings back her up. Just to give you an example here, this is data that is compiled by Open Secrets. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a Democrat, raised $2.2 million from business PACs. That's the fifth highest total for any congressional candidate, and the second highest among Dems. The top three were all Republicans. An analysis by the Brennan Center for Justice found that outside of those dollars that need to be disclosed to the FEC, that there was an additional $1.9 billion spent in the 2024 election cycle through dark money groups. This is money that we don't know exactly what the source is from. It gets run through intermediary groups, so its original source becomes hard or impossible to verify. And this allows unlimited money, thanks to the Supreme Court case Citizens United, to flow into our elections, buying members of Congress. When you were in Congress, is it as direct as people imagine it? Yeah. Where somebody is like, I took a check from so-and-so, from this corporate PAC, and so now I'm going to vote on this issue in this way. Does it work? Is it that much of quid pro quo?
Let me just, and I'll talk about a corporate PAC in a minute, but I'll tell you the power of a special interest like the bully PAC, which are the far-right pro-Israel PACs. I have seen now only, I think there's 20 members of Congress that will admit there's a genocide going on in Gaza. Only 20 members. And they're folks that don't take far-right Israel money. The rest of them can't even use the word genocide, because those far-right PACs, let me enumerate them, APAC, Democratic Majority for Israel, United Democracy Project, 314 Science, and there's like 15 other ones. they have all received a check from one of those groups, and they cannot utter the word genocide because they like that money so well. So corporate PACs, right, is that I've seen members of Congress go in and say they're a climate hawk, and then their first year, they take $500,000 from big oil, $500K.
Do you want to name any names there?
No, I don't want to humiliate anyone, but it's true.
I'm not afraid to humiliate elected officials. I suspect Newman didn't list the names because she didn't actually know them off the top of her head, but I've pulled them up here. This is, again, data compiled by Open Secrets. The top recipients of oil and gas money during the last election cycle. I don't think it would surprise anyone to learn that number one on this list of people who got over $500,000 worth of contributions, Donald Trump at $2.6 million. But number two, Kamala Harris. So it wouldn't have mattered which major party's candidate would have won the presidential election. You would have gotten somebody who was bought and paid for by the oil and gas lobby regardless. The other 5 names going down this list are all Republicans, but I will just call out that the last name on this list to make that $500,000 club was Speaker of the House Mike Johnson with $503,000. Newman endorses a general strike as a way for everyday people to wrench back control of the political system from the oligarchy, and evidence of that oligarchy we can see all around us. I would challenge you right now to try and watch news on a channel that is not owned by Disney, Comcast, or Warner Brothers, and you will see exactly how difficult that is to do. And if you want to get your news from an online source, try to do so without giving either your money or your attention to Apple, Google, or Facebook when you access those sources. But those examples play out in industry after industry, whether it be airlines, oil and gas, or groceries. What would you want a general strike to try and win? Like, it has to be around some sort of core motivating principle.
Right. There has to be an objective. Yeah.
What do you see the objective as being?
I think the objectives are very clear, is that remove the oligarchy. So all of these large companies that are gouging us right now, they have to have regulations, guardrails, and parameters. We have to impeach this president. We have to get rid of the Republican-led Congress, because they all are impeachable via an election, right? We can get rid of them via election. So in 2026, we can get them out. But in the general strike, a boycott is very powerful. It is very powerful. We've seen that, right? Target has now lost $30 billion, and immense amounts of foot traffic. So keep on with the boycotts, and we're building to this general strike because, unfortunately, this administration is so corrupt, they only listen to money. So if you can break down the economy, and that's what we're talking about, is like breaking the economy for whatever it is, 3 days, 10 days, whatever it is, break the economy, and then they'll listen.
On the government shutdown, Newman actually thinks that this oligarchy and corruption will play to Democrats' favor in negotiations, because she thinks that insurance companies are going to yank the chain on Republicans when they have to start telling their customers that insurance premiums are going to go up as Affordable Care Act or Obamacare subsidies begin to expire. That's one of the main negotiating points that Democrats have taken as an extension of those subsidies.
What will happen, and this is my prediction, is that the letters from the major insurance carriers, where they're going to have to tell all of their policyholders, hey, your prices are going to go up between 50 and 100%. Those start on October 1st. So let's say that we go that long. Or started today, rather. So if they start receiving those, I think that Republicans are going to get a lot of responses from their supporters, and I think we're going to have extra leverage.